You are listening to the Body Charge podcast, and I'm your host, Sandy Sanderson. Welcome to the Body Charge podcast. Today's topic is, why are many psychiatric treatments problematic? Mental health issues are escalating at an alarming rate. Last century, psychiatry involved a lot of talk therapy and introspective analysis. Now it's more about labeling, diagnosing from a list of symptoms in the psychiatric DSM, which are linked to a list of psychotropic drugs, potentially leading to unhealthy dependencies. Most of these diagnosis labels have significant overlap, such as autism, ADHD, schizophrenia, depression, which are prone to differing subjective opinions depending on perspective. So it becomes all too easy to prescribe potentially dangerous drugs, which may not be appropriate. My special guest today is Dr. Ric Kealoha, a trailblazer in root cause medicine, functional nutrition, and advanced healing protocols. He has extensive experience in physiology of mental health breakdown, chronic stress, and recovery. So welcome aboard, Dr. Ric. Lovely to have you on the Body Charge podcast.
Hello, Sandy. Thank you very much.
My first question is, what's the difference between a psychosis and emotional meltdown? How can these presentations be misinterpreted?
Wow, psychosis and emotional breakdown. Gosh,
Like a
that's
meltdown. You just
yeah.
over frustration
Well,
and can't control the outburst.
well, a psychosis, an emotional breakdown. To me, it's all rooted coming from the same place, really, because your emotional health is connected to your body health. For example, the gut bacteria, we have a long intestine, we have a long colon. It's about 10 meters or 30 feet long. And people think that it's just a place where food is digested, and part of it is taken in as nutrients, and the rest is going down to the toilet, and that's it. But they don't really realize the fact that your body needs help into taking in these nutrients, these brain nutrients, right? Via our gut bacteria. And if you actually look at our bodies, you see your hands, you see your fingers, you think, oh, there's more of me. And there's a little bit of cells like bacterial cells and fungi and whatnot. No, actually, we are only about 15% of our own cells. And the rest of it, 85% of the cells, are actually foreign. They're bacteria that help us do our thing in life. For example, bacteria allow the nutrients of the food that we swallow, that we put into our gut, to be extracted. All the vitamins, all the nutrients, the bacteria must process, extract the nutrients that feed our neurotransmitters in our brain so that we have balance and equilibrium in our emotions. So without these bacteria, we can't get the nutrients. Second, these bacteria also actually produce the neurotransmitters of serotonin, dopamine, and GABA. So that's a second mode of what they do. The third mode, what they do is they build a border, basically a blocking border that prevents toxins from coming in to our deepest parts of our cells.
That's the
And
gut lining, isn't it? The
the gut
mucosal
lining.
lining. And we
It
have a
is.
mucosal lining also in the nasal passages, where a
Yes.
lot of bacteria that protect us live, right?
Yes. And so it protects that. But unfortunately, the majority of the patients that I have through our advanced laboratory testing of the stool, there's a lot of leaky gut. So these toxins are allowed to come in. Where are these toxins coming from? Canned foods, processed foods, the medicines that we take, the psychiatric medicines that we take, it's all harming our good bacteria. Our equilibrium is off because of these chemicals in our medicines, in our foods,
In the water,
plus in the
the
water.
fluoride and the chlorine
Exactly.
kill the gut
And
bacteria.
and then these cretins who are spraying the air, like Mr. Bill Gates, we are absorbing these poisons from these poisonous people. these parasites of society are poisoning us. And so these things we breathe in, the aluminums, the mercury in the
Yes.
water,
Poisoning for
and it's
profit.
it is oh my God. And even children, the poor children are being so trafficked and abused these days. Anyway, we're getting off track, but the poison itself, the emotion is actually affecting. If we are more stressed, if we are more depressed, the gut bacteria changes in composition and more pathogenic bacteria are allowed to grow versus the positive bacteria. My dog, he's like moaning, saying, "Walk me, walk me."
And tell him to wait.
You must wait.
Yeah,
So,
so and also the pathogenic bacteria are attracted to acidic environments, aren't they? And that's
yes,
when
they
the
are.
waste products are building up, these
They
toxins, and
are.
even our own metabolic wastes, if they get stuck and the body can't detox, eliminate enough or neutralize those wastes, they form like a compost heap in the body and lots of free radicals, which then those acids start to dissolve our tissue. And that's where
Yeah,
you get erosion of the gut lining, isn't it? That's where you get like
yeah,
holes and the
yeah.
leaks.
And then you add to that the emotional trauma and from childhood, from parents, from teachers, from friends, from partners, and what builds up combined with the dysbiosis in the body and in our fat. If you can pinch your belly, you can pinch your bum, you can pinch your thighs. It's not just fat. What's stored in there? What's stored in there are all the toxins from the medicines, the foods, the air that have accumulated, and they are your lumps of fat. They're basically storage of toxins. And so they're poisoning you if they continually are there. So the trick is to remove it via ketogenic diet, right?
Yep,
Intermittent fasting. If
yep,
I could go to an island and I could only take one medicine with me, it would be intermittent fasting. That's the best medicine. They cure people with epilepsy. They cure people with depression because it resets everything in our bodies, including the microbiome and also our neurotransmitter hormones
and I read
in
that
our.
fasting also causes the body to eat um, useless materials
Yes,
such as
yes,
tumors and lumps and bumps and things that shouldn't be there. It
yes,
consumes that before it gets to the good tissue. And
yeah,
so that, well, obviously you need to stop before it gets to the good tissue, but it's very helpful for cleansing. And haven't traditional societies done this for thousands of years?
right,
Periodically do a cleansing fast, no different
right,
to taking your car to the mechanic to have the oil and the filters
yeah,
cleaned and
yeah.
everything renewed.
Yeah. Yeah, the mechanic is really the mechanic analogy you posed is really indicative of modern, so-called modern medicine nowadays, where they don't address the root cause. They look at some tests, but the tests don't go deep into the body. These tests only check maybe the oil level. That's about it, right? But doesn't go deeper into seeing the rust in the valves and the broken valves. No, and as a result, oh, let's just give you these chemicals to treat the mechanical issues and
Yes,
nothing more. Nothing,
yes,
nothing about fixing the broken valves,
just
for
cover
example.
it up and numb it and dumb it down.
Yeah. And then if you ask the mechanic, the doctor, hey, what do you recommend as far as fuels and liquids are concerned? Oh, just do whatever. Doesn't matter. Just go get your fuel from McDonald's.
Yeah,
And
so
so,
so is it right to say that when people have an emotional outburst or frustration or what they used to call a nervous breakdown where they just can't cope anymore and they have a big outburst and fall in a heap, they have like an elevation in their emotions, a lot of energy comes out and then they collapse and lose that energy and move into a depression. It's like almost like a bipolar thing.
mm,
What causes these shifts and changes as far as the microbiome goes? Is it like the body's panicking because things are not right and it doesn't know how else to shed those toxins and wastes?
Well, that's the thing. If your body is disbalanced, if you have too many toxins stored in your fat, in your gut, and then combine it with a lack of positive healing, rebuilding chemicals, hormones, things that power the neurotransmitters, things that power our mitochondria. When you lack the tools and you're
Like
just flooded
magnesium.
with these, like magnesium, exactly. Essential minerals are so important, right? And when you lack the tools in your body for it to repair itself, because our cells want to repair itself, our brain cells want to repair itself. But when it's not given the right tools, it's given the wrong tools, poisonous tools. In other words, I used to be a psychiatric resident for 2 months, and I said, wow, this is psychiatry. This is how you treat people with mental illnesses. No, thank you. I left, and the director said, I understand why you're leaving. I said, this is not what I signed up for. I really wanted to heal people, not make big money for big pharma, but really make an impact, you know?
Yeah, and then
And
there's no evidence that those drugs are actually helping people to recover and improve their health.
oh my
They
God,
actually deteriorate the health and cause a lower level of cognition, so the brain works less efficiently. So it's really speeding up a downward spiral. It's just that they're more sedated and more quiet, right?
they're zombied.
Yeah.
They're just taught to cover up the real causes, cover up the emotions, turn them into zombies, and oh, I'm cured. When you see this doctor in the white coat and his big desk, the psychiatrist, you are educated to believe that he has the answers for you. You just sit back, let him do his thing. You don't have to question him because questioning is rude, right? They make you feel stupid for asking
Oh,
questions.
because
They
that's
only
like a
take
god. How can you
yeah,
question the priest?
exactly,
This is
exactly.
really like a religion, isn't it? Because there's
It
no independent testing to confirm a particular diagnosis. There'll be differing opinions. It's just your perspective. Are you looking at it from this side or that side? And
and the
because
DSM, when you look at the DSM, it's like their Bible, right? It's a Bible to charge people an official charge, an official diagnosis.
and to sell
And
drugs.
but the most toxic thing to me, the most evil thing for me is that we are made to believe that a little pill can wipe away all your emotional trauma, which is nonsense. It's like a magic pill, you know? It doesn't exist.
It's really so
It's like
last century.
snake oil salesman is what it is, really, you
Yeah,
know? But poisonous snake oil. At
yeah.
least if you just sell some good, decent oil, it'll be good for your diet.
And
But
often it's given to very vulnerable people who
it is.
can't really look after themselves or discern or make proper decisions because they're in a state of mind which is not well.
Yes.
And they
And they're
need
desperate.
they're desperate. They're desperate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I think in the field of medicine these days, it's the one area that needs the most improvement or updating. I would like to
Yes.
call psychiatry the new neurobiology and study of the brain because we have scanning
Yes.
techniques. We have
Yes.
lots of methods now where we can look inside the brain to see, oh, well, that area doesn't look like it's performing well, or you're low here or you're high there, and you've got this blood test and that genetic testing, which leads me to my next question. Because you do the functional medicine,
Right.
how do you work out what a person really needs? How do you do your diagnosis to help someone recover from mental stress, mental illness, and strengthen up again from the inside out?
I work with, I'm actually one of the consulting doctor for famous, well-known doctor, Dr. Mark Hyman. He has an exclusive
Yeah.
clinic in the island of Ibiza where high-level, high net worth patients, clients go to because they have had enough of conventional medicine. And these people, because they're wealthy and successful, they want to maintain their success and wealth by having the brain power, emotional power, physical power to be at their best, their optimum. So what I do is I ask them first to email to me, send me all their previous lab reports, their scans, and I take a day, maybe a day to look at them and analyze them. And I look for things like inflammation. I look for things that are off in their lab reports. And then I talk to them about their nutritional state. I talk to them about their emotional state, like past emotional traumas and their fears as well. And then I also look at their their partnerships with their current partner, and how is that going? So I take the holistic picture of what's going on in their life and their health. And then I'll recommend some advanced laboratory testing that typical clinics do not offer. We take a stool sample and we put it through a microbiome analysis check. We see all the pathogenic bacteria, we see all the good bacteria, and then we see the level, if any, of leaky gut. And then also, I do a deeper hormonal dive via a much more comprehensive hormonal testing, where it goes far beyond the typical clinic hospital hormonal test. And it shows actually the cumulative or accumulation of chemicals that behave like a hormone, but actually do a lot of harm in your body, called xenoestrogens. And I analyze that. And depending on the level of it,
They're like
your
fake
body,
estrogen, fake,
yes, yes. A
chemical,
lot.
chemically synthesized.
What are the chemicals that mimic estrogen?
Mhm.
Well, okay. There are, number one, probably the biggest is are pesticides. Number two is fluoride in the toothpaste, fluoride in the water. Number three are cosmetics, skin creams,
What about the
aftershave.
pill? What about the pill, the birth control pill?
Oh, the contraceptive pill is a disaster, basically,
I
right?
know in my younger years, when I was taking the pill, I couldn't get past 3 months because it would give me terrible heart arrhythmias
Oh
because
my
it
God.
interfered with my magnesium utilization. And you need magnesium for heart rhythm and the electrical system. So it kind of robbed me. But when I looked into it, I found that natural estrogen was beneficial and worked with the magnesium. So you have to be careful which type of estrogen, and if they are chemical estrogenic compounds, that's not beneficial to the body. So people get a bit confused because isn't all estrogen the same? Absolutely not.
Yeah, like the estrogens that doctors typically give are basically derived from horse piss, you
Ooh,
know, and
yeah, pre-Marin.
so so this is why I prefer bioidentical hormone, which is plant-based.
Mhm.
And plant-based medicines, plant-based materials, our cells love because it's natural. It can accommodate them, and there's no reaction in immunity to it. So there's no side effects, there's no adverse reactions to it. Most of the pills that we give from the pharmacy have adverse reactions because our immune system can't identify it. They say, "What is this? Let's attack it." And then thus you have thyroid issues and whatnot.
Yes, autoimmune issues. That's a
Yeah.
big one. That's on the rise. And inflammation you mentioned before, that's part of an autoimmune response. That's when the immune system actually can't shut off and it just goes in overdrive and then starts to attack its own cells. That's
Yeah.
that's on the rise, and it's all to do with, well, mostly to do with our exposure to those chemicals, all
Yeah.
sorts of chemicals in the environment. And it's pretty hard, I think, these days to avoid them. I think, we do our best with the fasting, intermittent fasting, and putting good nutrients in and, looking for natural and organic wherever possible. At the end of the day, we have to have faith that our body will rise above the dangers, as long as we support it well.
So after I do the analysis of the hormone system and I see that there's a large quantity of xenoestrogens not being gotten rid of by our bodies, because it will either, our bodies naturally tend to get rid of them, right? But if it's not, then I will recommend plant-based solutions, medicines that will help chelate it out. So chelation therapy is very important.
Yep.
combined with intermittent fasting,
Yep.
combined with the ketogenic diet,
Yes.
all
Low
help to
carbs.
reprogram.
Yep.
Low carbs, but also mitochondrial optimization. And you have to optimize the mitochondria because every cell, besides except the blood cells, have mitochondria. And what is mitochondria? It's the motor of the cell designed to create energy in our bodies, right? And so you have to do what is called mitochondrial uncoupling, meaning the multiplication, duplication of more and more mitochondria per cell. Thus, when you have more motors generating energy per cell, the cell is
Wow.
more healthy.
How do you do that?
Mitochondrial uncoupling,
Yes.
things that make the mitochondria uncouple are things that fuel it, like MCT oil, uh, goat and sheep cheese, dairy products. Yeah. And also things like polyphenols, foods filled with polyphenols, foods that produce butyrate in the gut microbiome, all
Butyrate.
these
Yes.
things,
Good.
all
Very
these
good for the
things
gut. Mm-hmm.
all these things heal the gut, heal the microbiome, which then goes and gives fuel to the mitochondria. You also want to include mitochondrial fuels like coenzyme Q10, biotin, and things of that nature.
Yeah, so I read that mitochondria are very sensitive to free radicals. So when they do the metabolism to make their electrical energy, the byproduct is free radicals that have to be neutralized quickly and eliminated, for which we need antioxidants.
Right.
So if you're not supplying enough antioxidants, if your body isn't producing enough glutathione or a superoxide dismutase, so these antioxidants neutralize the free radicals, they build up, and then the mitochondria, they're in danger of being destroyed by those acids and free radicals. The cell actually becomes resistant to insulin, and so it shuts down, and that's the beginning of your metabolic syndrome and the journey towards diabetes and putting on fat, storing the toxins in the fat. Metabolism keeps going down. It's a downward spiral, isn't it?
The free radicals also promote insulin resistance by causing inflammation in the cells.
Mm-hmm.
So the insulin molecules themselves are not able to go in to the muscle cells, for example, that need creatine phosphate, for example, to in order for it to produce muscle power, right? So these are so important in the process. But what I do with patients is melatonin and glutathione are your most powerful antioxidants. So I
Yes.
supplement melatonin,
Yep.
glutathione, but high dose. But I
Yep.
also do vitamin D3, K2, because what it is it actually powers a powerful cell in your body called the macrophage. And these macrophages hunt for free radicals. They hunt for cancer cells, precancer cells, infections. They look like little Pac-Man cells that gobble up things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the vitamin D3K2 will power these cells to hunt better. When I do patient analyses, they're often very low in vitamin D. And
Yep.
so this is why and doctors are ignorant with vitamin D. They always tell you, be careful, don't take too high. But what we do is we push between 15,000 to 20,000 IU per day on a daily basis
Yep.
to keep your immune system up. You don't get enough from the sun, vitamin D. And the
No.
K2 actually prevents calcification in the wrong places, like
Yes.
heart valves,
Yes.
arteries,
And so does magnesium. You actually need magnesium also to produce D3 in the body. And it's the electrical system itself to fuel everything. So the D3 and the magnesium, there's several research studies to show they're very complementary for one another because you need D3 to then use more of the magnesium. It's a little bit chicken and egg kind of scenario. And also when you go in the sun, if you use magnesium and good fat on the skin, you can actually produce more vitamin D in the skin as well. It is a beautiful organ and not used enough to supply nutrients.
And what I do also is astaxanthin is another powerful
Mhm.
antioxidant that I also push for patients.
Yes, that's good for your eyes, isn't it?
It's good
Astaxanthin,
for everything. But
zeaxanthin. Yep.
high dose melatonin is a good, cool thing. It
Yep.
people think that it's for sleep, but it's not. It's actually super anti-cancer. And
Isn't it a
so what I
byproduct of
promote,
sleep? That melatonin, isn't that a byproduct of sleeping when you go into your deep sleep?
melatonin, melatonin when you sleep, the pineal gland is actually producing the melatonin. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so it regenerates your body. It helps regenerate your body because usually during sleep is when you actually are in repair mode. Yeah. And also during fasting, you're in repair mode. And so 60 milligrams 4 times a day is a really good thing for cancer prevention, or 180 milligrams before you go to sleep.
Wow. So most people don't realize melatonin is a very, very powerful antioxidant, and it helps to clean the brain. The brain, the central nervous system, and the fluid, the brain stem fluid. And if you don't get deep enough sleep and produce enough melatonin, you can't really do that deep cleaning in the brain. So you wake up with a foggy head and you can't concentrate. And, you know, that affects brain health, mental health, doesn't it? Not having enough brain
The
cleaner.
big the biggest problem with brain fog, with dementia, with depression, with also poor focus and memory issues is brain inflammation. Brain inflammation due to the accumulation of toxins combined with not enough neurotransmitters, combined with leaky gut dysbiosis. Yeah.
Yep.
And so it's basically the brain is being polluted, what it is, by
Yeah.
all these substances in your bum, in your hips, in your thighs. All these toxins need to be gotten rid of. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Do you
so,
also
like
do saunas and bathing and perspiration
red light,
using the
red light,
skin?
red light therapy to activate more melatonin, for example.
Yeah.
We do saunas as well, but also cold chill. Cold chill actually produces more dopamine and serotonin.
Wow.
So a cold plunge,
Like an
for
ice bath,
example,
you mean? Yeah, ice
an
bath.
ice bath,
Yeah.
yes, or cryotherapy.
Hmm.
Cryotherapy is also very good to help promote and lower inflammation, for example, in the body. We also do infusions of glutathione in the clinic, infusions of vitamin C,
Yep.
of NAD. NAD is another important, NAD and FAD.
Yep.
Nicotinamide is a very
Yep.
important
It's
chemical
B3, isn't it?
for
Yep.
uh, B3. Well,
B3
it's a component of niacin, yes.
derivative. Yeah.
B3 niacin is actually a triglyceride bad cholesterol sequestering mechanism in the kidney, in the liver. Yeah. But the NAD, nicotinamide, is actually like nicotine, like cigarettes, nicotine. That's why people
Yep.
get addicted to it. But nicotine is actually a component in the electron transport chain of the mitochondria to produce its power. Yeah.
Yep.
So when you give NAD to people, it actually repowers the mitochondria as well.
Yeah. That's why they feel more awake and alert and focused.
And that's why people who have supposedly this COVID, actually, they got mostly influenza. When they were cigarette smoking, they actually had less symptoms because of the nicotinamide in the
Yeah.
cigarettes compared to the non-smokers during the COVID
Yes, I
so-called
read that.
pandemic.
Yeah. It's so interesting. We could talk for hours. It's fascinating because we need to upgrade our medical system a lot.
This is why, with me and a team of developers in AI and a high-level marketer person with his team, and a real estate developer investor, and a famous doctor, Dr. Tanya Elliott, coming from the States, the four of us, we are building a AI-powered telemedicine ecosystem that will be available through your mobile phone and also
Wow.
through the web. And what it is the AI robot will look like a certain doctor, but a functional medicine doctor
Yep.
only,
Yep.
will consult you and guide you for free. And no matter what time of day, you can consult
Anywhere in the
it. It will
world.
anywhere in the world. And plus, it will offer you these advanced tests shipped to you and advanced supplementation shipped to you to where you live. And if you upgrade your subscription on the platform, You will get one-on-one with a telemedicine doctor, with a functional
So
medicine
how
doctor.
how do people connect? Where do they go online?
You don't, the cool thing is that it's in development now, only
Mhm.
still. But what it is it can be accessed easily. And here's the cool part. You don't need to download any app. You just
Mhm.
need to access your social media messenger, like Instagram Messenger, Facebook Messenger,
Yep.
or WhatsApp,
Yep.
and the portal will be there.
Oh,
So
fantastic. I'll put a little link
yeah.
at the bottom of the video so people can click on and explore more and read more. There's always more to learn.
We're still in the development phase right now,
Yep.
but we
Yep.
expect a running model to be in the next 1 to 2 months.
Oh, fantastic. Well,
Yeah.
that's really good. We're about to finish now. Is there any one last thing you want to say to people before we finish in the last minute?
Well, emotional health, brain health, mental focus. So many people are really suffering these days. And the magic pill does not exist. What you got to do is clean the trash out of your body via good food, good plant-based medicines. And the best medicine I can promote, which is free, is intermittent fasting and a ketogenic diet. That's the best
And
medicine,
and good
really.
relationships and lots of love, right?
Lots of love, good community, good connections, because we need mental connections. Absolutely.
Yep. It's like sleep, a very good vitamin.
Yes, yes, yes.
Well, thank you
Absolutely.
so much, Dr. Ric. This has been
You're
really
welcome.
enjoyable,
My pleasure.
informative. And, I hope in the future we can pick this up again and dive into more detail into your research and what's
Okay.
happening with the AI. Sounds so fascinating.
It is, it's the first of its kind. What the cool thing is that anywhere in the world, as long as you have your computer or your phone, you access better health. And not just a 10-minute office visit, but as long as you have your phone, you have continuous support wherever you go. That's the beauty of it. And if you
Fantastic.
don't have much money to spend, you have the certain level designed for your financial level so that it's no stress. Yeah. And and the focus is healing medicine, not keeping the disease going,
Yeah,
but healing you, reversing issues and restoring health. That's the
that's
cool
it.
part.
And there's something for everyone. I hope you liked this conversation and will share it with others. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. If you want to listen to other Body Charge conversations, click like, subscribe, the bell icon, and click all notifications. Subscribe to our newsletter to get updates on blogs, podcasts, videos, and Magnesium special offers at electromagnesium.com.au. Relax, recharge, and recover.